Lewis Hamilton's contract is up at the end of 2026, and the question on all of our minds is, what happens when he finishes F1? Maybe he will continue racing for a few more years, but how will he utilize that? We already know that he has interest in having his own race teams, and he does have some racing already. But if we want to know what the answer looks like, and this is all just speculation, we can look directly at MotoGP, at Valentino Rossi. Rossi retired in 2021 and he became a team boss in his VR46 racing team. Valentino Rossi's team actually just won a race in Catalunya, with Fabio Giannantonio taking out first place in what was quite a chaotic race. But even deeper than that, Rossi's been developing Italian talent for more than 20 years. The current championship leader, Bezzecchi, has come from VR46 Academy. Pecco Bagnaia, previous world champion, has also come from the VR46 Academy. So it's no coincidence that he's seeing success in MotoGP as a team boss. I'm Tim from Along Trackside. We're going to look at 3 different areas today. Firstly, we're going to look at what Rossi's actually built and why it started more than 20 years ago in 2002 and not in 2022 when he started racing his team in MotoGP. Secondly, we're going to look at the win for Fabio Di Giannantonio and what that means to have Rossi on the pit wall and what the difference is when he's a team boss. And thirdly, we're going to look at the Hamilton question. What can we learn from what Rossi has already done? And what are the differences in the scenario with Hamilton? What makes it more complex for him? Diving into what Valentino has done, his VR46 Academy started when he was only 23 years old. Someone who's so young, who had already won world championships, was interested in building up other Italian riders so they could be world class. At his hometown in Tavullia, he created a ranch where he invited Italian riders to help them grow in their craft. Graduates that you may recognize if you watch MotoGP include Bezzecchi, the current world championship leader, Pecco Bagnaia, who is a world champion already, Frankie Morbidelli, and Luca Marini, who's actually his half-brother. The VR46 team entered as a MotoGP outfit in 2022, and they've been a factory Ducati satellite team since its inception. And while it sounds like they've only been around for 4 years, they've actually been around for much longer than that, considering he's been building up his academy for so long. That's patience. Rossi's been a coach that entire time, helping build up Italian riders to be the very best in MotoGP. And since he stopped racing, he's able to devote more time into his team to generate and bring up winners. Now let's look at the most recent winner, Di Gia, winning at the Catalunya GP. It was a chaotic round, especially with Alex Marquez's crash going into Pedro Acosta. It was a huge crash, and as part of that, the debris, one of his wheels with suspension forks, went flying down the road and actually hit Di Gia's hand. He needed to race back to the pits so that he could join the restart. He survives the second red flag, where there was an injury-laden Zarco when he crashed. And in the shortened 12-lap remaining sprint of a GP, Di Gia comes out victorious. And who was there to watch him gain that glory? None other than his team boss, Valentino Rossi. Rossi not only is there as a coach, but he acts as a spotter on the track. The things that people only see in data, Rossi already knows. He is a multiple world champion. He has defined MotoGP for an entire era. And so when he's there on the pit lane wall and he's watching the race, he's able to give active information back to his riders. So for Di Gia to be able to win in front of his boss and mentor, Valentino Rossi, would have been super special for him. But then think about the broader impact. Marco Bezzecchi is still leading the championship. Bez is a product of the VR46 Academy as well, a good friend of Rossi who's ridden around the streets of Tavullia together. Either way, the Academy wins. So could Hamilton do the same thing that Rossi has done? It's more complicated than you might think. His contract ends this year with Ferrari, We don't know yet whether that's going to continue or not. He already has interest in the X44 Extreme Racing Series and also Dawn Apollo Films. So he's definitely someone who's thinking about his post-race legacy. As someone that would obviously want to be involved in F1 and maybe be a manager or boss at some stage, the barrier to entry is extremely high, needing north of $200 million to even get a sniff at having an F1 team on the grid. And that's before actually creating a car or hiring any engineers. In comparison, MotoGP has very different concessions for satellite teams who can join with a manufacturer and add their own team branding to that. Sometimes they get the latest model bike, sometimes they get last year's bike. And the concession systems in MotoGP will allow teams that aren't performing as well to have more opportunities to develop their bikes further and their riders so that they can be more competitive and make the racing more exciting and closer. F1 doesn't have that. They have a standard cost cap that each team must adhere to. So the question is, does Hamilton just want to be a team boss? Or does he want to be like Rossi and be the soul of the racing and build an academy that brings more than 20 years of experience and shapes champions over many years and decades? So when we're thinking about what Hamilton could do and we're speculating about this, is what's the next step for him? He's 41 now. There's many opportunities that he could take, and what sort of academy might he build? Rossi's already been doing that for a long time, and he's leveraged that into building, alongside his career, a team that now produces winners. For those of you interested in seeing more of what Valentino Rossi's VR46 team can do, the next round is going to be in Mugello at the end of May. That's effectively his home turf. We've got his team members, Frankie Morbidelli, Fabio Di Giannantonio, who are going to be racing, and they're going to be on a high after this recent win. And so I'd be really interested to hear those that are F1 fans. What do you think Hamilton's going to do, and how do you think that's going to compare to what Rossi's already done?